Hi everyone, it's Nichol Spohr and welcome back to my channel. Today I have some quick and easy gratitude, thankful, autumn themed cards to share with you using some new products from the My Favorite Things August 2022 release. I love everything fall, which you guys, if you have been here a while, probably already know, and I thought it would be fun to take a single stamp set from the release as well as a stencil from my stash and create some super quick and easy cards. So I am starting with this mesh stencil from Simon Says Stamp. This has been out for a while, and I'm going to take some cappuccino ink and apply this just kind of in the center of the panel, concentrating that light brown ink color in the center. This is where the images are going to go over the top. Naturally, around the edges, it's going to stay white or very, very faded, which is the look I'm going for. Kind of focusing in on the components we'll be adding to our card. I like this mesh design. It's just a nice, simple background. Lots of different stencils would work here. I think something kind of simple without a lot of pattern is really going to show off the stamped images perfectly. Then I'm going to take some stamps from the Greatest Blessing stamp set from the release, and I'm going to kind of lay them out and see where I think I want everything to go. I'm also going to take some sentiments from the stamp set and lay those out as well. When I'm designing cards, I love to take the stamps or dies and kind of use them as a guide. This is going to give you a very good idea of how much you need for the card, where everything is going to fit, and then you can kind of adjust and work from there. I'm going to take my backgrounds that we just inked. These do measure 3 3/4 by 5 inches. So they're going to be a little bit smaller than my normal background. I forgot to mention that a minute ago because we are going to mat them on some orange cardstock to really make them pop. I'm stamping my sentiments on each of the backgrounds with some black ink. On the first background, I stamped I'm So Thankful for You. I absolutely love the size, scale, and fonts of the sentiments in this. These would work with lots of sets that you may already own as well, but I really like them. And then on the second background, I'm going to use You're My Greatest Blessing. There's also with Gratitude in this set, and again, mix and match, use them with other stamp sets that you have in your stash or that you may have picked up from this new release. Next, I'm going to take all of the images that I want to use for my cards and stamp them on some Neenah 110-pound weight smooth white cardstock using Hero Arts Intensified black ink. I'm going to be coloring in my images with Copic markers, and this is my favorite ink for stamping those. Now, I ended up starting with the wheelbarrow, the wagon, and a couple of pumpkins and a couple of leaf images, and quickly realized for the wagon image, because it is smaller in scale than the wheelbarrow, I'm going to need more. So I did stamp more images. I don't think I color those on camera because it's going to be a lot of repetition, but I did want to mention that because in the finished cards, there's a lot more than what you see. Because I haven't stamped these images before, I did have to stamp them a couple of times, and you can see that I totally shifted my cardstock, and so I had to stamp them again. Sometimes that happens. I like to keep it real here. It happens to all of us, me included, and apparently I didn't have it in the corner of my MISTI the first time I stamped it. I wanted my colors to be very muted and to have that fall feel and flair while still being colorful. And I decided to use one of my very favorite color combinations. I've used it so much, I feel like, in the last few months, and that is some BG 70, 72, and I think 78. All of the exact colors are listed down in the description below, as well as over on my blog for easy reference. And that is a blue wheelbarrow, and I'm going to do a blue wagon. I love that pop of blue. Have you guys been seeing that a lot in the fall decor this year? I think it kind of goes in and out of style, but I have been seeing it everywhere this year where they're adding in some aqua. This is kind of more of what I would call a muted aqua, or yeah, a muted aqua, but it still has that feel to it to me, and I really, really like it with the oranges, yellows, and browns I'm going to use for my pumpkins. I have several different color combinations. I will list them below. I used 4 different color combinations for my pumpkins. So there's obviously the more orangey pumpkin that I did first. This is going to be kind of my muted brown pumpkin. I could have gone even lighter for more of a white pumpkin, but I didn't. I pulled in a lot more of the E44 with that one, so that's fine. And then the yellow pumpkin is going to be kind of along the same lines as the orange, but kind of some yellow reds, more yellow reds than what I used for the orange pumpkin. All in all, a really nice color combination. I did do some yellow greens for a lot of the leaves. In a couple of places for leaves, I'm going to do more of the yellow reds just for little extra pops of color. And then my final pumpkin color combination is more brown, and that's why I'm saying I kind of wished I would have gone a tiny bit lighter with that original brown pumpkin so it'd be more white, but again, it's okay. You know, I just go with it. I've already done all of this work. You can't really undo. You can always add darker, but you can't really lighten an image, which I always say I tend to start light and go dark, but in this case, I didn't. So, but I really like the pumpkins regardless. Some cool grays for the wheel on the wheelbarrow. I did a different brown color combination for the handles and some of the other accents. And, that's about it. I have one more little leaf there I need to add color to. The little berries sticking out, I will come back to those here in just a minute because there is another one of those images on the wagon, and I want to do a little tiny pop of red, just a teeny tiny. There's not much red, that's the only place, but I like that little contrast in each of these images. Then I'm going to color in the rest of the pumpkins. I do tend to leave, I don't overblend. I like the texture on the pumpkins a lot, so I will kind of do more of that flicking, feathering motion and leave them a bit unblended, I guess. And as for the pumpkins, they can be any of the color combinations that I did there in the original image, and those will all be listed individually down below in case you're wondering exactly kind of which colors I used for each, but I'm just going to kind of mix and match the pumpkins. Let's go ahead and color in our second wagon image. I do start with a very light base of BG70. Not much of BG70 it shows, but it will leave a tiny highlight underneath. It's mostly BG78 and 72, or 75 and 72. It's 75. Sorry about that. The exact color is written out below correctly. I left the wheels for the longest time as I was coloring. So the stems of the pumpkins are E55 and 57, as well as the handle for the wagon, same for the wheelbarrow. And I was looking at my wheels after I colored everything in, and I really didn't like them. I feel like it's way too much white, so I colored them in with brown. So it might not be right, but I think in the finished card, leaving those white would just be so stark and glaring, for me anyway. So I just went ahead and colored those in with browns because I just didn't like how it looked. The wagon is so cute. As I mentioned, it is slightly smaller than the wheelbarrow image, and so I did feel like I needed to add a little bit extra around this particular image for the finished card. I did add that R37 for the little berries there on both of the images, and I again love the little pop of red. I always love a little pop of red. And here's that brown, and I feel like it makes a huge difference for the wheels. Now I'm going to die cut all of my images, and I've laid everything out on my cards. This is some pumpkin cardstock, and I have the link to this down below, and this will be trimmed to 4 by 5 1/4. And we're going to mat it mat our stenciled panel on the orange cardstock, and then we're going to put the whole panel on a white card base. So it's going to have a very matted look. I don't do a lot of this anymore. Way back when, we saw a lot of that, but I felt like with this background and with all of the white space and not just kind of filling each and every little corner, that a pop of color around the edge would be so super pretty. And I really like how it kind of just pulls into that same fall feel, and it worked really well. I'm going to go ahead and assemble my images. Some are popped up with foam adhesive, some are glued directly to the background just to build that scene. Isn't it pretty? Just all the fall feels. I love it. Such beautiful images from my favorite things. Let's go ahead and do the same thing for our other image. And then pop a couple of pumpkins around this guy as well. All the pumpkins, right? Oh, and I kind of moved it. And we're going to map this one on some pumpkin cardstock. We're going to add a little extra greenery just to balance that better. And then we are going to finish our cards with, you guys guessed it, some little heart accents and some gold pearls. I love the little brown coffee bean hearts from Trinity stamps. I'm going to add one of those each underneath our sentiments, and then a little trio of gold pearls kind of scattered up above each card. Super minimal, but I like how it kind of just pulls your eye up a little bit and fills a bit of that white space really nicely while adding that nice touch of interest. Finally, as I mentioned, I'm going to take the white Simon Says stamp pre-cut and scored card bases. I am going to use the Lawn Fawn bone folder to make sure I have a nice good crease, then pop my panel in place. And that is going to be it for these quick and easy gratitude, thankful, fall themed cards using brand new products from the My Favorite Things August 2022 release. Thank you guys so much for joining me today for these autumn themed cards. The supplies I used to create my cards are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to my Patreon members. If you would like to become a member of Patreon, please click the link in the description below. We would love to see you over there as part of our growing community. Here's another video featuring my favorite things, stamps, dies, and other products that you might be interested in. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel, click that like button, and don't forget to hit the notification bell to always be notified when I have a new card making video. Thank you so much for joining me today, and we'll see you next time.